The 6th of May Bistritz. I left Munich at 8:35 p.m. on May 1st Street. Arriving in Vienna early tomorrow morning, was supposed to arrive. It was 6:46, but the train was running an hour late. Budapest looks like a lovely place, based on what I saw of it from I walked a little on the streets after getting off the train. I was scared. We had to walk a long way from the station because we got there late. Would begin as close to the right time as we can. It seems like your message got cut off. Could you please provide the text you'd like me to rewrite in simpler words? I felt like we were moving away from the west, coming into the east, the most western of beautiful bridges. Over the Danube, which is wide and deep here, brought us into the customs of Turkish rule. We left at a good time and arrived after it got dark. Klausenberg I stopped here for the night at the hotel. Royal I had chicken for dinner, mixing it with red pepper, which was really tasty, but thirsty means you want to drink something. Sure, please provide the text that you would like me to simplify. I asked the waiter for Mina's recipe. He said it was called paprika chicken, and that, since it was I should be able to find the national dish almost anywhere. The Carpathians are a mountain range in Eastern Europe. I found my little bit of German very helpful. I really don't know how I can manage without. While I was in London, I had some free time, so I had been to the British Museum and looked around the books and maps about Transylvania in the library. It occurred to me that knowing something about the country in advance might help. Almost certainly has some significance when handling a rich and important person from that country. I see that the area he mentioned is in the far east of the country, right by the border's 3 areas, Transylvania, Moldavia, and Bukovina. In the middle of the Carpathian Mountains, one of the most untamed and the less familiar parts of Europe. I could not turn on the light. Any map or document showing the exact location of the Castle Dracula, since there are no maps of this country yet to use. Look at our own Ordnance Survey maps, but I discovered Bistritz is the name of the town mentioned by Count Dracula, and it is a place where mail is sent and received. A pretty well-known place. I will write down some of my notes here. They might help me remember things when I talk about my trips. With Mina in Transylvania, there are 4 different groups of people. People from the Saxon group live in the south, and there are others who are mixed with them. Wallachs are the descendants of the Dacians, and Magyars are a different group of people in the west, and Sikhes in the east and north. I am going among those who say they are related to Attila and the Huns. When they took control of the country in the 1100s, they discovered the Huns moved in there. I learned that every superstition we know about in the world, everything is collected in a horseshoe shape. Carpathians, like it's the center of something. Creative whirlwind. If that's the case, my time here could be quite exciting. Remember, I need to ask the Count about them. I didn't sleep well, even though my bed was nice. I had a lot of strange dreams. It was a dog was barking all night under my window, and it might have been because was related to it, or it could have been the paprika, because I had to finish all the water in my pitcher, and was still wanting a drink. I slept until morning and was then woken up. I keep hearing someone knock at my door, so I think I should go answer it. I have been sleeping well then. I ate more for breakfast. Paprika and a type of cornmeal porridge that they make. It was called mamaliga, and it had eggplant filled with meat. A really great dish that they call implatata. It seems like you provided only mem, without any additional context. If you could share more text or specify what you want to be simplified, I'd be happy to help. I need to quickly get the recipe for this because I was in a rush for breakfast. The train was supposed to start a little before 8. I did it, because after hurrying to the station at 7:30, I had to wait. We were in the carriage for over an hour before we started to move. Change location. It looks like the farther east you travel, the more the trains are late. What should they be in China? All day, we seemed to move slowly through the countryside, which was full of all kinds of beauty. Sometimes we looked small towns or castles on high hills like we in old books. You can see this. Sometimes we traveled along rivers and streams. which looked like there were large rocky edges on both sides them to experience big floods. It uses a lot of water and flowing strongly to clean the outer edge of a river shore. Please provide the text you would like me to rewrite in simpler words. At every station, there were clusters of people. Sometimes there are groups of people wearing all kinds of clothes. A few of them they were just like the farmers back home or the ones I saw arriving. Traveling through France and Germany, wearing short jackets and circular shapes. Some wore hats and pants they made themselves, while others were very different. Attractive or beautiful, especially in a way that looks like a picture. The women looked nice, but not when you got too close. They were close to them, but they moved awkwardly around the waist. Sure, please provide the text you'd like me to simplify. Had completely white sleeves of some sort, and most of they wore big belts with lots of stripes fluttering away from them like ballet dresses, but of course, there were petticoats underneath. The weirdest the people we saw were the Slovaks, who seemed more uncivilized than the others, with their large cowboy hats and loose clothing. Dirty white pants, white shirts made of linen, and very large ones thick leather belts, almost a foot wide, covered in studs with metal nails. They wore tall boots with their pants hidden inside them, and had long black hair and thick black mustaches. They are very scenic, but don't seem. The word, prepossessing, means something that is very attractive or charming. They would be put down on the stage right away. Like a group of old thieves from the East. They are, but I am told that they are very gentle and not very confident. We arrived in Bistritz when it was getting dark. It's a really cool old place. Being almost on the border at the Borgo Pass goes into Bukovina. It has had a very rough life, and you can really see it. Signs of it. 50 years ago, there were a lot of big fires, which caused a lot of destruction 5 times. It looks like your message was cut off. Could you please provide the full text you want to simplify? At the start of the 1600s, it changed. After a 3-week siege, 13,000 people were lost. The victims of war are also suffering because of hunger. Sickness. Count Dracula told me to go to the Golden Krona. I found a hotel that I was really happy with. Outdated, because I really wanted to see everything I could. Ways of life in the country. It was clear that people were waiting for me because when I showed up, everyone was watching. As I approached the door, I saw a happy-looking old woman. The typical farmer's outfit, a long white shirt underneath 2 colored aprons, one for the front and one for the back. Almost too tight to be modest. When I got closer, she bent down. He asked, "Is that the Englishman?" I replied, "Yes, it's Jonathan." Harker smiled and gave a message to an old person. A man in a white shirt with rolled-up sleeves followed her to the door. He left, but came back right away with a letter. "My friend, welcome to the Carpathian Mountains. Sure, please provide the text you'd like me to simplify. I am nervously waiting for you. Have a good sleep tonight. The bus will leave at 3 tomorrow. Bukovina. There's a spot saved for you there. Sure, please provide the text you would like me to simplify. At Borgo Pass, my carriage will be waiting for you. Come to me. I believe that your trip from London has been a good place, and you will too. Have a great time in my lovely country. Your buddy, Dracula." On May 4th, I saw that my landlord received a letter. Count, ask him to find the best spot on the coach. For me, he appeared to be unsure when I asked him for more details. He was a bit reserved and acted like he couldn't understand my German. This can't be true because he understood it well, at least, he did. He answered my questions as if he really understood them. He and his wife, the old woman who welcomed me, looked at everyone in a scared kind of way. He quietly said that the money was there. He received a letter, and that was everything he knew. Sure, however, it seems like your text got cut off. Could you please provide the full text you would like me to simplify? I asked him if he knew Count Dracula and if he could tell me about him. He and his wife crossed over to his castle. themselves, and saying that they didn't know anything at all, just wouldn't say anything else. It was very close to the time of I didn't have time to ask anyone else because it was all. It is very unclear and definitely not comforting at all. Right as I was about to leave, the old woman came over to me. She entered the room and spoke in a wildly excited manner. "Do you have to leave? Oh young man, do you really have to go?" She was feeling sad. She was so excited that she seemed to lose control. She used the German she knew and combined it with some other things. A different language that I didn't know at all. I just managed to ask her a lot of questions to understand her better. When I said to her I need to leave right away because I have something important to do. "Business?" she asked again. "Do you know what day it is?" I replied that it was the May 4th. She moved her head side to side as she said again, "Oh, yes. I understand that, I get it, but do you know what day is it?" When I said I didn't understand, she continued talking. "It's the night before St. George's Day. Don't you know that tonight, when the clock hits 12, all the bad things? Where will everything be under control? Do you know where you are? Where are you going, and what are you going to do?" She looked clearly surprised. I felt upset because I tried to help her feel better, but it didn't work. In the end, she got on her knees and begged me not to wait a day or two before you start. It was everything. It was very silly, but I felt uneasy. But there was work to do, and I couldn't let anything stop me, get in the way of it. I tried to help her up and said seriously, I did my best to thank her, but I had to focus on my important responsibilities. And I have to leave. She then got up and wiped her tears. She took a cross necklace off her neck and gave it to me. I understand what to do because I am a member of the Church of England. Taught to see these things as somewhat important worshipful, but it felt so unkind to say no to an old person. A woman who has good intentions and is feeling good. She looked, I imagine the uncertainty on my face when she placed the rosary around me. He held my neck and said, "For your mother's sake," then he left. In the room. I am writing this part of the diary while I am waiting for the bus, which is late, of course, and that the cross is still hanging around my neck. Whether it's the old woman's fear, or the many spooky stories of this place, or the I don't know much about the crucifix, but I'm not feeling very good right now. It's clear in my mind like always. If this book ever gets to Mina, before I go, let it be my farewell. Here comes the coach. And that, my friends, concludes tonight's tale. If you felt the chill run down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps me know that the darkness is reaching you. And if you're brave enough to face more haunted houses and sinister secrets, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a new story. Have your own eerie experience or urban legend you'd like me to explore? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear what keeps you up at night. Until next time, stay curious, and stay haunted. This is Mythmaker's Corner, signing off.